So after Cardi B took to the Grammy stage in what appeared to be a costume from a never-aired Showgirls Power Rangers crossover film and writhed about on a large bed while lip-syncing to her X-rated hit WAP, many people pointed out the obvious irony. Here was a major pop star flopping around on the stage, screaming about her genitals during primetime on a major network, even as certain Dr. Seuss books, Looney Tunes characters, Muppet films, and Disney cartoons have recently been criticized, censored, or taken out of publication completely for their supposedly objectionable content. It would seem that our culture has a rather confused idea about what sorts of material might be damaging to impressionable children, or impressionable adults for that matter. Now, it might be more accurate to say that our culture doesn't really care about protecting kids from damaging material and only uses those concerns as a vehicle to enact sweeping cultural changes. Either way, the contrast between WAP and Dr. Seuss is as instructive as it is depressing. And it's also the kind of conversation that would cause previous generations, if they looked through a crystal ball and overheard it, to throw themselves off of cliffs en masse. Yet, the really profound cancel culture hypocrisy as it relates to Cardi B can be found not in her music, but in something else. Recall that the singer only a few years ago confessed on camera to drugging and robbing men. In a deleted Instagram video, she boasted of having lured men, she didn't say how many, but it would seem that there were numerous victims, from the strip club where she worked back to a hotel room where she committed these felonies against them. Now, the clip is kind of hard to understand, but here it is again anyway. Listen.
You gotta put in that bread. I did it with my money. So for a to say that I don't motherfucking deserve it because I don't put in no work, now that's when I feel like niggas is bugging. Because I did it myself. Must have forgot the shit that I did. So survive. Like, I had to go strip. I had to go, oh yeah, you wanna me? Yeah, let's go to this hotel. And I dropped up and I robbed them. That's what I used to do. Nothing was handed to me, my nothing. So for a say that I don't deserve that's when I know they're bugging because they do not know what to do.
Truly a scholar is this woman. And she's trying to prove that she deserves her success by telling us that she is guilty of multiple felonies. What do you mean I deserve to be successful? I'm a criminal. That's the logic. Now, when this video resurfaced in 2019, Cardi B addressed it, but never used the phrase, "I'm sorry." She merely admitted that she's, quote, not a perfect person, which may be the only understated thing she's ever written or said, and explained that whether or not they were poor choices at the time, I did what I had to do to survive. Whether or not they were poor choices? This is a justification, not an apology. It's also a lie. In other interviews, the rapper has bragged that she earned upwards of $3,000 a night from stripping. By the age of 21, she claims she had 20 grand in singles saved. By 22, she was starring on a reality show, Love and Hip Hop New York. So when exactly was she so poor and destitute that she had to drug and rob people to survive? It doesn't appear that Cardi B views drugging and assaulting people as any kind of serious action requiring desperation to justify anyway. Now, even if she did view it that way, she'd be wrong, but her own words suggest otherwise. In a different video, while dispensing some helpful relationship advice, she said that if a man cheats on her, she'll, quote, take him out, drug him, then enlist a, quote, tranny, her words, not mine, to sexually assault him while he's inebriated. This is what she said. Let's listen to that.
Cheat on me, I'll be like, alright, I'm gonna take him out, we're gonna get drunk, I'm gonna get him all perked up and everything, we're gonna have a good time, get him super twisted, then bring a bitch around, we're gonna have a threesome, and when he wake up, he gonna be like, what the f***? Yeah, because the bitch was a tranny. I'm be like, yup, we had a threesome with a tranny. Yup, a tranny suck your d***. You don't gotta f*** another to get even, bitch.
This woman's IQ it has to be at least double digits. Now, it's not clear if she's actually done this herself or is she simply recommending it as a course of action. Nobody's thought to ask because none of this has been judged important by our cultural overlords. Now, a contestant on The Bachelor attended an Old South-themed frat party in 2018, and that past infraction made it around the same age when Cardi B was committing violent crimes that would land less privileged people in prison for 3 decades, has been judged so severe that multiple tearful apologies are not enough to rectify it. We've seen people canceled for tweets and jokes and off-the-cuff comments, and other sins which cause no physical harm or any other kind of harm to anyone. We've seen people lose their jobs and their livelihoods for opinions they expressed or words they said, no matter the context or intent or how long ago it was. Cardi B has survived all of those rounds of canceling. The cancel mob has not just passed her over or looked the other way, but given her a pass from all present and future cancellations. She's afforded this privilege for obvious reasons. For one thing, the primary transgression that will get you canceled is having white skin. It's no coincidence that almost every canceled person you can name is white. Cardi B has not committed that violation. So that's the first thing. For another, the leftist cancel mob truly considers an offensive opinion, joke, tweet, or word to be far more dangerous and evil than drugging and robbing people, especially men. It's not as though they're gritting their teeth and merely putting up with Cardi B in spite of these terrible things that she had boasted of doing. No, it's that they don't care. Or worse, they love her even more for sticking it to the patriarchy by means of violent felonies. In a culture where feelings are king, the worst thing you can do, even worse than violent crime, a lot worse, is have unapproved feelings or opinions, or to offend the feelings of someone who has approved opinions. What all this means is that, it means a lot, but here's one thing. We can at least put to rest the flimsy rationalization that cancel culture is really a matter of accountability. I mean, if that's all the mob was doing, holding people accountable, then certainly Cardi B would be in line for a little accountability of her own. She might, at a minimum, be expected to reach into the ample profit she's earned from singing about her body parts and repay the men she robbed. That wouldn't even come close to full accountability. Full accountability would involve her sitting in a jail cell until sometime in the 2050s. But it would be something. Instead, we get nothing. We focus on holding random Bachelor contestants accountable for the frat parties they attended and newspaper editors accountable for a single word they said on one instance in an entirely innocent context 2 years ago, while criminal sociopaths like Cardi B carry on making their millions, spewing filth into our children's ears, and never having to apologize for anything. Call that what you want. But please do not call that accountability. Well, I hope you enjoyed that clip from the Matt Walsh Show. If you did, go ahead and hit that subscribe button right down there so you can stay up to date on all of our future content.